Now, this is the Royal College of Nursing, whose professional negotiators recommended the nurses accepted the pay offer. They narrowly didn't. 54% voted against, 46% for, but only on a turnout of 61%. So we've now got another 48-hour strike coming over the May bank holiday weekend.
That's right. So joining us now is Julia Taylor, a psychiatric nurse, to give us her opinion on the ongoing situation. Good morning, Julia. We've spoken before. It's lovely to see you. And I know that you are not in support of these strikes. Do you still feel the same way?
Not really, believe it or not. Because what we're trying to do now is we're trying to save the NHS by striking not just the nurses, it's just the doctors, it's the whole NHS. There's a bigger picture. Sadly, I think we're going to end up looking greedy in the RCN because we've voted to strike again, not accept that pay offer. But it's great, the pay offer, a 5% pay rise and a bit of a lump sum in the bank. Brilliant. But that's just a tiny little plug and gap. That's all they're doing. It's not going to solve anything. I do think we should strike now, believe it or not. Because I've said we shouldn't strike from day one. There's a part of me still thinks we should protest. But, the protests in France, not the violence, the amount of people that are protesting. I don't mean the violence at all. But if we did that in this country, I do think we'd get somewhere with the government.
Julia, 40% of nurses didn't even vote in the ballot. That's an awful lot of people, of your colleagues, just turned their back on it, wanted nothing to do with it. So in the end, you've got 54% supporting rejecting the offer on a turnout of only 61%. It's less than half.
Yeah. Well, I'm not very good at maths. No.
You need to listen to the Prime Minister. We're all going to be good at maths soon.
We'll say you should be ashamed of that, Rishi Sunak says today.
I know, exactly. No, you're right, it's less than half, but still, people that did vote, it counts. It's got to count democracy, isn't it? Or so. Yeah. It's just difficult because I know somebody who left the nurses training to go and work in an agency to get more money as a doing 4 nights a week than they would as a qualified nurse. What does that tell you?
Yeah. I'm really surprised, Julia. I'm so surprised to hear you say that you've changed your mind on this. I think that's fascinating. I think we've been chatting to each other since about September, October of last year on GB News. What have you seen change in that time? What is it like within the NHS now? I think what you're saying is it's just got so bad in that last 6 months that something has to be done.
Yeah. Where I work, again, I'll say this, I'm lucky. I've got a good team and honestly, I couldn't ask for more. But some of my friends, some of my other colleagues who work within the NHS, they are struggling. They're working short shifts where there's not enough nurses. They've got agency nurses that are coming in that aren't skilled in that particular area. So they're having to basically teach them what they want them to do. There's people leaving nurses their nurses training left, right, and centre. People have had enough, not just about money. I make that clear. We are trying to get more nurses in the NHS. If we were greedy, we'd go and join an agency, but we're not doing that. We're sticking with the NHS. We're trying to get the NHS right, but we can't if there's not enough people.
Yeah.
And the only way we're going to get enough people is to up the pay and also express the fact that student nurses, I'll say it again, are the profession with £60,000 worth of debt. For doctors, what incentive is that for people to come and join the wonderful NHS?